everybody to today's presentation. What I want to start out with is saying that we're either at an evolution or a revolution. And if you just look at the picture on your screen and look at the migration of your cell phone over the years, it's gone from this big clunky thing that only did voice and phone calls to now something that can handle text messages, then all of a sudden can handle emails and things of that nature, to today where you can be taking and sharing videos, paying bills, things of that nature. That's the evolution of the phone. Still a device that does what it was originally meant to do, but it expanded into additional capabilities. When you think about JD Edwards, when you think about your ERP system, we're in a revolution. When industries first started, we started with simple water power, steam power. We migrated up to Henry Ford and all of a sudden got mass production assembly. Then we got into a third iteration with computers and automation. And here we are today in the fourth revolution of industry, the cyber physical systems. But that's not the end. We're still moving forward. We're still going into a fifth revolution of industry. And what that means is that your horizon is always changing. Your ERP systems are always changing. They're not slowing down. And if you look at the graph, you can see that the digital natives and the technology solutions are quickly outpacing the current people that we have in business. You have to understand that your ERP system is not the system it was yesterday. We have to understand that when we look at an enterprise resource planning system, traditionally in the past, people looked at it as something to support a function in my business. Now, today, it is becoming the competitive advantage for you and your business and your industry. It's becoming that differentiator. It's becoming that thing that is giving you the speed to market, the speed for knowledge, the speed for information, agility, all of those other things. So we have to understand when we talk about where Oracle is going and we talk about the JD Edwards roadmap, we have to understand that it began with the citizen developer, but it is not ending with the citizen developer. Technology was changing. Oracle changed JD Edwards to push down to the user community more of the technical capabilities, more of the configuration capabilities, more of the customization integration capabilities to the end user. That's where you as an organization have to start saying to yourself, I can no longer look at just my IT staff as the staff to support my business. I have to understand that my organization needs to change digitally. I need to get away from the right-hand side, those people that say we can't do things. We can't enable new technologies or new systems. We have to move over and say we can do these things. We can become a digital ambassador. We can learn new things because your C-level people are saying we have to do this. And if we're not going to do this, it's going to hurt our business. Oracle is not going to stop the development of Edwards simply because people want to stay the way they want to stay. The factory of the future, industries of the future are going to take technologies that are available, that have been available, that are becoming available, things like mobility and Internet of Things, things like cognitive and artificial intelligence, moving to the cloud. They're going to start absorbing all of these things. But what's interesting on this slide and what you have to understand is that all of these things are still predicated upon you and your ERP system. You still need to have that basic foundation of ERP to support all this. Hence the reason for change. We need to be able to say there's going to be many different other products, many different other services, many different other on-premise solutions or off-premise solutions that we need to integrate into our business. And we can no longer afford to have organizations develop these integrations because times are changing so quickly. We need to have those tools to enable a faster delivery of the integration. We have to more easily connect with different applications. We have to make sure that all of those are secure. And last but not least, we need to make sure they can run anywhere, be it on-premise or off-premise. So Oracle is investing in these approaches to help you get a higher return on your investment, to help you get a better return on your internal resources, i.e. your people, and to be able to help you in your jobs and in your industries become the leaders that you should be. Again, as your talent pool is increasing, notice that customizations are moving further and further away. It's all about personalization. It's all about giving people the ability to act and do and transact the way they need to. It's all about the configuration and letting your business analysts and non-developers work through solutions on their own. And it's mitigating the number of customizations that you need in your organization, because those customizations cause the complexity when you look to upgrade, when you look to have continuous innovation. So where's ERP going? If you start from the left-hand side, that's where it was way back in the day. Very transactional, system of record, maybe a data warehouse to put some data into to report on. And then it started moving into the digital platform, and that's recent. Digital platform ERP was 6-8 years ago, right? Now it is in a supervised ERP mode. There's robotics, there's natural language, there's artificial intelligence for assisted decision making. That's where we are today, but look at where we are going tomorrow. And tomorrow doesn't mean years, tomorrow means months. Machine learning, automated decision, adaptive intelligence, those things are on the horizon. They're right around the corner. So you make a decision. What are you going to do as an organization? Are you going to be the same old? Or are you going to turn around and you're going to say, wait a minute, I have to get along and get on board with this continuous innovation. I have to make sure that I position myself and my business so that I can continue to move forward. I have to start embracing the technology and the applications that are afforded to me to make my business grow. So what does it all mean? Look at this chart. I cannot tell you how many people that I still talk to and deal with that are on either XE or 812. If you're on XE, you have a 20-year-old ERP system. If you're on 812, you have a 14-year-old ERP system. Well, some of you are saying, okay, big deal, you know, we're not on that, we're on 9.1. Well, look at 9.1. That's 8 years old. In today's day and age and life cycle of technology change, 8 years is 20 years. So we need to think that if we're not on 9.2, why? Well, we have a support policy though. My Oracle support policy says that as long as I'm paying for support, I get multiple levels. I can get premier support, which is good for 5 years from when the release came out, but now, 9.2 changed that. And I could have paid for extended support to get another 3 years. But hell, even when all that's done, I still get sustaining support. I get support forever as long as I pay. Well, you may think that that's a good thing, but sustaining support, you don't get updates, you don't get bug fixes, you don't get security patches, you can't fix data, you don't get any tax or regulatory updates. You have to do those on your own. A cost to your internal staff for customizations. You don't get the ability to get an upgrade script to seamlessly upgrade. There's no certification to other products or services that might come out. And you don't get any certification with any other new Oracle product. So yeah, you have sustaining support, but what does it really mean? It means you get a person, Tom, that when you call up, XE 20 years ago, I'm still not comfortable with it because I've moved on to 9.2, but I'll try to help you. And I'll sign on to an XE environment and try to fix what you're going through. Your ERP support is critical. Staying ahead of the curve in technology is important. And this is just a reiteration of what you get from a support perspective with the release levels you're on. So, continuous innovation, Enterprise 9.2 support to 2030, World 9.4 support to 2022, extended support to 2025. But if you look at EnterpriseOne, notice that you don't see extended support because there is no such animal, okay? With a continuous delivery model, all new functionality to the products and updates are for the existing 9.2 release. You're not required to gain access for features and capabilities or fixes or things like that. So again, look at this chart. Where are you? Have a come to Jesus moment and say that if you're not on 9.2, there has to be a very, very, very compelling reason why you're not. So world, this is just showing you on the world side. There's a lot of people still on release 7.3. That's 24 years old. Okay? So get to vanilla. Eliminate customizations. The latest technology 9.2 release is moving away from customizations, which are very costly, moving more toward an end user personalization and configuration. Okay? Move ahead. That's where Oracle's going. Oracle is looking at the right. It is not looking to keep everybody on the left because it affects your upgrade projects. If you are on release 9.2, for all intent and purposes, your upgrades are either number 1 or number 2. Very low cost, very low time upgrades. If you're on anything other than 9.2, you need to contemplate a transformational upgrade or just a net new implementation. Sometimes net new is better. You want to incorporate UXOne. You want to eliminate your customizations, continuous adoption. You want to create roles for your people and have a more modern experience, right? You want to get into a continuous delivery mode. This is the way it's been since 2015. So with that, I want to turn it over to Dan to talk to you about some of the changes that are going on in the functional side, and then I'll join you again to talk to you about some of the things on the technology side. So with that, Dan, I'm going to change the presenter to you.
All right.
You could take it and throw your thing up and we're good to go.
All right. Can you guys see me, Tom?
I see you. I see you. You're beautiful.
Oh, thanks. Okay. So, Tom, that was really great stuff. And I just want to take a few minutes to talk about some of the functional side of things. And, it's really weird because 9.2 is kind of a culmination of a lot of updates over a long time. And, it's not just the big three of, the financial, distribution, manufacturing. There's a lot of targeted business accommodations that have been made in JD Edwards, such as lease management and rental management, real estate, home builder, food and beverage, health and safety. And some of these have been around for a little while. But it's funny, I just talked to someone recently who upgraded, and they spent an inordinate amount of time trying to unravel the ball of yarn they had that they were doing lease management without using lease management. And it was quite an assembly of mods and reports to make things happen, that now it's kind of seamless. So that was just a nice benefit of getting to an upgrade from late 8s. So it really helped them out an awful lot. And it's really good to look at least if some of these things are really nice, like joint ventures, brand new. So some of that stuff's really neat. And just in the last year alone, talking about some of the enhancements that were, seems like finally all these things are coming together at Oracle, and they're just making all these corrections and fixes that have been around for a while. So although joint venture management is relatively new, it's in 9.2, came rolled out, I think in 2018, I think. They're already making some corrections and updates and fixes to it. So it's pretty nice. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So manufacturing accounting, and they've done a lot of, just things that have been wrong for a long time in JD Edwards, and they're really fixing some of these things. Little things like form extensibility, part of the UXOne package that now works a little bit better than it did before. So even if you didn't have UXOne or you've seen UXOne, some of these, even those things are getting improved as we go. And these are happening in the quarterly updates. I'm air quoting quarterly. Sometimes they're 4 months, sometimes they're 5 months, but they're about every quarter. So it's really being really nice seeing some of these changes come out. And so what's new and on? Well, for a quick summary, I just kind of grabbed some of these things. 9.2.4 applications for financials. What do we got here? We got some joint venture management issues that were corrected. First of all, joint venture management is new anyway, but they've also corrected a few things, like for the managing partners, how they can deal with some of the oversight and manage the cash calls and doing all the paying and invoicing and whatnot between the venture. Very, very cool, very nice that they got to get some of that fixed, and it's really working really well. On some of the financial side, the option to restrict payment to vouchers only. Well, it's kind of a new control in the manual payment of the match application. So it's really compliant with your financial department requirements. It's very nice and works nice. For the voucher withholding tax calculations flexibility, it gives you the ability to configure the withholding tax be a gross or taxable amount, something that wasn't really available before. And then you have the balance sheet lessee accounting. Now it allows you to actually use multi-currency in your leases and gives you a little more control on how you do your lease terminations. So those are pretty handy there. For human capital management, HCM, they've made quite a few changes in codes. An example, they did one for like Pennsylvania school district codes and that type of thing. They've got some ability to view things a little bit better along the way. You've got some, you can view the social security number and the employee master if you have the security to do so. Flexibility and on effective on date for quick hires, some equal opportunity employment updates, and some Australian tax authority updates as well. That just need to be done. And the manufacturing, there's only one task here, but guess what? This is one that we have modified in almost all of our manufacturing accounts going along for copying bills of material. It's now part of JD Edwards standard now. So good for all you all, bad for us because we can't charge for the development anymore. But it is a really nice little function that's out there that's going to help everybody along the way. And there are even some order management stuff. We now have record reservations out there for the delivery notes. Lets things run in parallel at the same time when you're running like invoices, for instance. And also sales proposal generation simplification is just that. They've now made it a whole lot easier to do that. Give you some Oracle BI Publisher templates to make things work a little nicer and cleaner. And localizations, lordy, we got lots of localizations. I'm not going to go through all these, but you can obviously see whatever your country is, you need the localization for. They've added quite a few different ones. There is one thing, if you've ever done an upgrade recently, there's tons of special instructions for localizations. There are so many of them. So it's really helpful if you've got someone in a different country, you need to get all their stuff in there, great. That's it, that's what it does. There also should be on here 9.2.4.2. I should have put that in there as a slash, I did not, up on top for Orchestrator. New Orchestrator Studio, pretty awesome. It's if you've used one of the older Orchestrator Studios, it's a little clunky. Had to go to quite a few screens to actually test out your orchestration and build it. It's now kind of one, the studio's been revamped a little bit and makes it a lot easier to navigate around and test without having to clear cache every 2 minutes. And that's part of the ADF, that's gone. You can actually run your tests right from the studio. There's a new Orchestrator schedule interface. I believe that's somewhere deeper in Tom's information as well. And also can associate the orchestration support on the grid, which is pretty cool. Tom, oh my God, we're back to you already. How did that happen?
I don't know, but I appreciate it and I'll gladly take it back. So give me 1 second.
Okay. All right.
All right. And just let me know when you see my screen again and I'll be good to go.
We see you.
All right. So again, Dan, thanks. What I'd like to mention with Dan's presentation is while there are enhancements coming out on the application side for EnterpriseOne, for those of you that are currently on the world side of the fence, it stands to reason, and I think we're all smart enough to understand that Oracle is moving away from that technology. Oracle is while they're still supporting World, I'm not saying it's going away, while they're still supporting World, the amount of effort to enhance the ERP technology and the interactions with other systems and services is not as robust as it is for EnterpriseOne. So while the World product is going to be there and it's not going away, again, we need to start thinking about today's day and age, today's technology and what it means. The other thing that Dan pointed out is he was talking to things like Orchestrator and UXOne. And when I get in and I start talking about the tools releases, I want people to understand that the tools release is bringing the user interface capabilities. It's bringing the watch list. It's bringing the ability to do queries. It's bringing orchestration. Those aren't applications. Those are the tools releases. The applications themselves are so robust in how they function, we are augmenting that by layering in additional tool functionality. And Dan alluded to the fact that we're currently at tools 9241 and 9242. Those came out in November of last year. Application release 924 came out in December of last year. Again, it's a mindset of continuous delivery. If you look at that swim lane I have in the middle with the 4 arrows, 3 arrows, I want to show you the investment that Oracle is making in Orchestrator. Orchestrator came out, Orchestrator Studio 602 came out in 2017. And there was only one tool release for that process. In 2018, Oracle said, well, wait a minute, we need to make changes. And they came out to Studio 6.10 and 7.0. And there were 2 tool releases in 2018. And then guess what? They said, wait a minute, in 2019, and that's old, 2019 through July, they came out with 3 tools releases to upgrade Orchestrator. Theoretically, with the release of 9.241 and 9.242, in effect, they had 5 tool releases in 1 year to make Orchestrator better. Why? Because that's where they're putting all of their eggs. The ability of Orchestrator to minimize customizations, to increase UXOne experience with watch lists and notifications. That's where the technology is going. If you want to get more information, you can go to our webcast where we have other tools release webcasts that you can talk to or see. But here's some additional relevant links. And I know this is going to be hard for you to read, and probably people are taking pictures with their phone or trying to scramble and write things down. The point is this. Most of these are Oracle, either docs.oracle.com or the oracle.com site or support.oracle.com, right? Or learnjde.com. Use the tools and use the resources available to understand what's going on. What Dan talked to you about new functionality, learnjde.com has a great way for you to do comparisons. Let me see from release 9.2 to 9.2.4 applications, what's the net change from new functionality? Use those tools to understand what's going on. When we talk about the technology changes, there's been changes in form extensibility. Not only the fact that you can extend forms by moving new fields onto the grid and onto the header, i.e. fields that weren't in part of the business view delivered with the product. You now have the ability with Orchestrator to actually do orchestrations against grid records. You have better personalization with form security. You're going to have the ability to have color-coded environments so that you don't have to worry about customizing HTML. And I can't stress enough that the UXOne experience is drastically different now with how you can embed objects within pages and, you know, Cafe One and things of that nature. IT needs to start engaging the user community and let them become self-serving in understanding what they need. Now, you know, technology advancements are tough because it puts a different type of onus on IT. It puts more of an onus now on IT as to how do you secure out from certain things, people being able to do it. Again, Dan talked about the redesigned Orchestrator Studio, where it's more visual. It gives you a better Visio type of look and feel to the Orchestrator. The scheduler interface has been updated along with watch lists. If you look, this is the latest Orchestrator look and feel. It's more of a swim lane kind of thing, gives you that graphical flow so you can see the steps, let you add, move, delete steps, you know, at your leisure. Let you turn around and test within the same user interface. And notice there's no more ADF server. Everything now is managed via the AIS server. That's what Dan talked about. Talked about clearing of the cache and not having to worry about that anymore. It's becoming a more seamless, more simple, more intuitive type of tool. I talked to you about how you now can run orchestrations not only on the extended form, but on the grid record. You can literally now take orchestrations and run them across multiple records with a single click of the button. You can send a notification based upon an event that happened on a single grid row versus having to send the notification for the whole thing. Orchestration is removing your customization, and you're going to see, and I'm not going to ruin it, but you're going to see how GSI can help you even further to determine what you can get rid of. Operational enhancements, simplified deployment and security for your orchestrator, elastic deployment if you have OCI, there's new merge tools, 64-bit deployment server. Now, this is another thing that you as an organization have to embrace. It's happening. You're going to have to go to 64-bit, okay? If you look at the database certifications, right, platform certifications, you'll see that you can have 32 and 64-bit certifications for Linux and Windows, but only 32-bit for Solaris. You have to understand, sooner or later, we're getting there. It's all about minimum technical requirements. So now, if you have Orchestrator and you want the latest and greatest, you have to get to tools release 924 something, okay? And when you get there, there's managing of the security, there's creating notifications and what you have to do, how to set up the whole security. There's MTRs for all of that that can be found in these documents. At the same time, you need to have those components that are talking to Orchestrator, you need to have those on a minimum technical requirement as well. So your deployment server, you have to have Visual Studio.NET 2017, right? If you're using an Oracle database, you see what you have to have there. Supports many releases of Java, but you may need to have both 32 and 64-bit Java. Again, not only do I have MTRs for Orchestrator, I got MTRs for the deployment server. Well, guess what? Your MTR considerations, and again, this has gotten, these screens I'm going to show you are gotten right from the Oracle site. You need MTRs for your deployment server. You need MTRs for your enterprise server. You need MTRs for your database server. You need MTRs for your HTML server. All of these things have to be cross-referenced and working appropriately together for you to run your JDE instance. Okay. So now if I want to upgrade my tools, and I'm a 32-bit shop, what do I need to do? Well, now you have to go to Oracle. You have to look to Oracle support for the tools release you want to download. You want to download the planner. Ooh, there's bug fixes that you have to look for. Then you have to download your application enhancement. There's a bug fix you have to look for that. Then you get into your tools and you have to get the right tools level. You have to look for 64-bit deployment server migration tool. You have to look for ADF containers. You have to do all of this in the appropriate order so you don't screw yourself up. And then when you're all said and done, you got to do a 32-bit full package build. Okay, great. I want to go to 64-bit. I want to turn around and make my software as secure as possible. Why? Because other parties, other third-party providers, they're all delivering 64-bit components. They want to make sure that they're securing their stuff. Hence, you need to secure yours as well. There's no impact on your business process or data if you go to 64-bit. You don't have to worry that it's going to degrade something. And a 64-bit deployment is now available today. So let me say I want to go and update tools on a 64-bit environment. Then what do I have to do? Well, you can upgrade directly to 64-bit, but Oracle says maybe you take a phased approach to get rid of all the other variables that might be in place. Maybe you want to upgrade first to 32-bit, and once it's working, then upgrade that tool's release to 64. And Oracle says, well, let's upgrade one path code at a time, therefore making you multi-foundation. So there is a tool to migrate from 32 to 64-bit. However, there's no path backwards. Once you're done, you're done. And that's not a bad thing, okay? Now, you have to make sure that if you're using 32-bit development or a 64-bit development client, your business function development is always done on 32-bit. So when you're checking in or building, the 32-bit version is run through a conversion process, and it's written to the repository, okay? So, any additional questions, you go to the Oracle site, you look at a document ID. Those of you that have done that, that's a very fun process, right? You might as well start drinking before you go, because by the time you're done, you'll want to have another. So, we're not done with 64-bit. Now I have to deploy migration tools. I have to update the manager console. I have to do a lot of deployment server and planner builds on 64-bit. I have to do other special instructions, blah, 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 blah. Then I have to validate that everything's working, but I'm still not done, because once everything's working, I have to update the release manager to purge all my 32-bit objects. A lot of work. The things Dan talked about, the things I just talked about, www.learnjde.com. You can understand everything when you go to the tools release side or the application side. Start using the resources available to you outside of JD Edwards, outside of Oracle, to help you understand what to do. So I'm done with all of this, and I'm saying to myself, is this the last big upgrade I have to do? Somebody asked me one of the questions I'll answer right now, is 9.2 come 2030, is it done? No. Oracle is saying 9.2 is supposed to be the last dot release. And you will continue to get tools and app upgrades to that release level. Everything we've heard from Oracle says nothing different. There's no talk about any other major release. Now, some people that have gone to 9.2, they're diligent in upgrading the software and hardware. And because they're diligent, their upgrades go from taking many, many weeks to just 1 or 2 whenever they're doing new hardware updates, tools, or apps updates. So upgrades are less than a week. And when I say less than a week, I'm saying the application, testing, validation, less than a week. 64-bit, the rumor is 2021. I have a strong feeling that by the end of October, Oracle will tell you it's going to be 2021. And you need to be considering a routine cadence of applying these tools and apps. Twice a year is okay. Once a quarter would be great as well if you can be that diligent. Remember though, code current is not continuous innovation. Don't go around your office saying we're code current well, you're not continuous innovation. Continuous innovation is continuous delivery of things with the continuous adoption of it. And continuous delivery means the vendor is giving you new features and functionality and capabilities on a frequent, regular basis. Those could be discrete individual things, or they could be cumulative. Continuous adoption is you deploying and taking that feature and functionality and capability on a regular basis. Now, that may line up with when the vendor delivers, or it may not. You can do a selective adoption. But again, become a continuous innovated company by continuous delivery and continuous adoption. There's challenges to that, right? IT's got to stay on top of MTRs. They got to stay on top of dependencies and deliverables. Your business, they have to understand the feature details out of the box. They have to evaluate how it's going to impact the business and change the business. How do you handle change management? You need to look for more automated testing tools and capabilities so you could streamline that upgrade process. And on the people process side, they don't necessarily know what they're going to get. There's still going to be resistance, but IT now needs to shift their focus and become a trusted advisor to the line of business. They need to tell them, hey, here's some new features and functionality. Let's work together to evaluate what you need, and let's see what we have to put in play. And the line of business needs to understand that they may have to test more often and sign off on things more often. So, vendor delivery model. This has been what Oracle is professing with JD Edwards. Since 9.2 came out, new function, new features, new tools. This is what it looks like. As I said before, 2030, there's been no talk of getting rid of 9.2 after 2030. So, still citizen developer where you want to alert, analyze, and act, but now it's augmenting that with machine, artificial intelligence, orchestrator, where they can detect things, decide things, and act and do things, right? By the machine. It's still about a tailor-made ERP solution because every organization is unique, every line of business is unique, integrations are unique. Tailor JDE. Get away from customization. You're still going to need some, but get away from all the time. Become more of a digital platform. All right. Use the tools inherent in Edwards. You have this decustomizer analysis report. This is a tool internally in Edwards that lets you look at certain customizations you've made that can tell you how the new UXOne experience and UI experiences can minimize those, i.e., you've changed the grid format, but now you can use form extensibility to do that, right? Use this tool to understand what you've done there. Understanding that the strength of any digital technology, no matter what it is, the strength is not in the technology. The strength of that is how you absorb it and integrate it into your organization to transform your business. If you listen to me and you read this and go back to your office and do the same old, there is no one to blame but yourself. So, a lot of stuff. You saw those MTR requirements. You saw the steps to upgrade. You saw all these other things you need to do. We can help you understand that and get over the hump. We can help you get code current and hardware compliant. It's not easy, but we can help you. We've done a lot of upgrades from XE and World to 9.1 and 9.2. Most of them can be a single upgrade. Some older releases may take a bit more. But the long and short of it is, it can be done. So I told you we have something special for you. We have a tool that we're developing that will go out into your system, look at the modifications that you made, and decode them so that they can be replaced by an orchestration, i.e., get rid of another constraint for your upgrade, something that you have to retrofit, you have to worry about staff to babysit and maintain. Deconstruct that into using the tool that Oracle has for Edwards. So look for that coming out in March and April. And last but not least, for those of you that are on this webinar right now, we will offer for you a special remote training session for up to 10 students on the capabilities of all of the UXOne items that are out there in release 9.2. So we will slash the price in half. Good for anybody that signs up 14 days from today. Your sessions are typically 6 to 8 hours. If you need to have more than 10 students, we can do that. But this initiative is going to help you understand all of those UXOne components that are out there and how you can understand, learn how to use them, learn how to develop them. Because again, UXOne components, everything's delivered locked down in your system. So it's very possible that your organization has the ability to use these things, but no one knows of them because when you took the upgrade, everything's locked down. Again, we can help you understand that. We can help you turn around and determine those things you're not taking advantage of. So on that note, I'm going to return it over back to the beautiful Brittany. All right.
Thank you.
Make yourself the presenter, and it's back to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Let me just get my screen showing here. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. Thank you, Tom and Dan. I'm just going to cover a few follow-up items, and then we'll move on to our question and answer section of the webcast. Our webcast today is part of GSI's free ongoing educational webcast on JD Edwards. Our upcoming webcasts are listed on the screen. To view our most up-to-date schedule, please visit getgsi.com/JD Edwards-webcast. Sorry about that. I have this all mixed up. I'm not sure what happened here. All right. If you would like to keep up with us on social media, all of our handles are currently up on the screen. As you can see here, we have our educational webcast. Our educational resources, GSI provides free educational resources for the JD Edwards community. Our weekly educational webcast, monthly newsletter called the GSI Insider, our online resource center, and on-site and virtual workshops. If you would like to sign up for our weekly email reminders for upcoming webcasts, our monthly newsletter, or create an account to access our resource center, go to getgsi.com and go to resources and events on the main menu, select JD Edwards, and then you select the appropriate link on the right. All right, and now it appears that we do have a few questions, and I will hand that over to Tom.
Okay, thank you very much, Brittany. So the first question we have is from Linda, and she's questioning what are the chances that Oracle will expand the support past 2030 for 9.2. My understanding, and again, I have heard nothing to the contrary of this, Linda, that 9.2 is the release that they're going to support, you know, going forward past 2030. So I would tend to think that, again, come, collaborate, come October, you're going to find out that Oracle is going to probably say that they're expanding it again. I have not heard of any major changes to anything that's going to necessitate a whole new release. The next question is from Taylor. And Dan, if you have any insight into any of these, feel free to jump on as well. But Taylor's asking, can an orchestration add a note to a media object, like a note from a third-party app? I'm going to have to defer the answer on.
Yes, it can.
There you go.
It can do a lot of things like that. It can take third-party products. It can update JD Edwards from third-party products, etc. It's very cool.
All right. The next question from Stacy. Hello, Stacy. He's doing a 9.2 upgrade, and they stood up the technology to 64-bit architecture, but third-party applications, they're not 64-bit enabled and still require a 32-bit JDE server. Have we seen problems running in a coexisting mode with 64 and 32-bit enterprises? The answer, Stacy, is I myself am not aware of any, but I would have to bring that over to our CTO and ask them if they've noticed any kind of issues or concerns. Okay? Dan, this next one's still going to be from you. And Stacy, if you drop me a note and just remind me, I'll make sure I'll get the CTO to give you an answer. The next one, Dan, is going to be from you. It's from Mark. He wants to know, does the training that we offer for the UXOne include hands-on examples?
Indeed, it does. That's why it's a 6 to 8 hour course. If you're up to 9.2, great. If not, we'll have to use our lab. That's why there's a prep charge, and we've got to clear the lab every time. So yes, it's hands-on.
Thank you so much. The next question from Joseph. He's asking, how long is a typical tools upgrade, including testing, anything from 9.2.1 to 9.2.4? My answer is this, Joe. While every account and every environment is different, especially when it comes to making sure all the MTRs are accurate and appropriate, I'm going to say that the most of the upgrades are typically anywhere from, I'm going to say 2 to 4 weeks to do an upgrade. But again, we have a questionnaire that once you fill it out, we can have our people look at it and give you a more definitive answer. So again, if you want to shoot me a note, you can do that. The next question, again from Joseph, but I think I know the answer to this, is the UXOne webcast cost of $24.95 per student, or it's up to 10 students? Correct, Dan? It's $24.95 for
10 students. 10. Yep.
Right.
Up to 10. And if you want to do 12, you'll probably just have to add a couple people. No, but not a big deal.
All right. Next question from John. Don't have AIS or BSSV, but if we go to 9.2, how costly is it to add those server capabilities? Again, John, that's a somewhat loaded question because understanding your environment, how you're running, how it's all structured, things of that nature, it can change. Can it change drastically? No, but it can change. So again, if you drop me a line, a note, and let me know what your topography is, I can get somebody that can give you a better answer, okay? Next question, Dan, maybe you know, can an orchestration call a business function? I believe the answer is yes.
I believe you're right.
Okay, so again, orchestration is the way Edwards is going, or Oracle is going to do all of that. Next question from Modi. Does the UXOne training include orchestration? The answer to that is no. Orchestration, because the depth and breadth of what it is, we have a separate orchestrator training that we can do for you. And again, if you let us know how many, it's going to be relatively similar to what you saw for the webinar. But if you can give me the particulars or whatever, we can get you that answer. Okay?
And John, Tom, if I can jump in on that, those are typically at least a 2-day session. The first day is some general stuff. Your second day is more technical for more of your technical guys.
All right. Another question saying last time a BSSV was done, it was about 300 hours to get it all working. Again, times have changed, technology has changed. If I have the particulars of the topography that you're looking to layer the BSSV server in, then we can give you a better answer. But 300 hours to me sounds a little high. All right. Usually the tools in the past didn't have any app code changes, but 924 upgrade does, correct? You're going to have the 924 apps upgrade, or you're going to have tools 9241, 9242. Two totally different things. All right. Can you point us to the documentation how to call a business function? We have been not able to do that. Again, drop me a line. This is from Eugene. Drop me a line and I will get you the appropriate link and where you could go to. All right. I'm a functional user, but everybody thinks I'm technical. Well, welcome to the real world. What levels of skills will the citizen developers need to have? This is from John. John, if you went to this UXOne training that Dan and his group provide, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that tells you when they're done with that they can't do it, then you need to honestly ask yourself as an organization, what is this individual looking to do? And I apologize for being so blunt, but it is so easy now for a user to be able to self-serve themselves that there's no need for them to look for an IT person. Normally it's the other way around, IT people saying, what am I going to do now? Because the users can do all of this stuff. So with that, I think we're done with the questions. Again, you see the email addresses for Dan and myself. For those of you where I said I could not answer a question, please feel free to shoot me an email. I will talk to the appropriate people internally to get that for you. Again, special pricing for UXOne training for the next 14 days. And for those of you that are looking for Orchestrator, again, shoot us a note and I can give you that information as well on Orchestrator. With that, thank you very much. Dan, you want to say goodbye? Brittany, you want to say goodbye? We're all said and done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Thanks. And then I just wanted to remind everyone that as a follow-up from today's webcast, that we just ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit. You'll be receiving a link to the Resource Center where you can access today's recording. And after today's webcast, we'll do a drawing for the $25 Amazon gift card. Anybody that attended the entire webcast will be eligible, and then we'll notify the winner. And of course, if you have any follow-up questions, just contact Tom or Dan.
All right. Thanks, Brittany.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.